Welcome back to the Mustang Blueprint. I'm Riley Cramlish.
I'm Celie Stockmo.
And today our guest is our SMSU school president, Dr. Jayasuriya. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you two doing?
I'm good.
I'm good as well.
Yes, so we're super excited to have you on here.
Great.
So we just kind of want to jump in, get to know you kind of outside your roles of SMSU. We'll dive into a little bit of what you do at the school, but just getting to know you as a person. So where did you grow up and what was your childhood like?
So I grew up in Sri Lanka. Have you heard of that country?
Mm-hmm.
I have,
Okay.
yeah. Geography did me good in high school.
So it's a tiny island in the southern tip of India. That's where I grew up. I grew up about 17 miles south of the capital, which is Colombo. And I went to school there and did my undergraduate and came to Southern Illinois University to do my master's degree and then went to Wisconsin to do my PhD.
Nice.
That just feels like very kind of crazy, like coming to Southern Illinois. Like, how did you find that place to go to in the U.S.?
So there was no internet those days, right?
Yeah.
So when I finished, first of all, I was mainly concentrating on playing cricket.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like softball, but
Yep.
different, right? And then when I got selected to go to the university, it's free, but it's very competitive in Sri Lanka because it's free. Everybody wants to go to college, and it's very, very competitive. So I didn't really took that very seriously. Cricket was my thing at that time. And then when I got into the university, I went there and they told me that I can't play cricket outside of the university. It's a requirement I play for the university at that point. So I played and finished my 4 years. And then last week I was thinking, what am I going to do now? I'm getting a math degree, right?
Yep.
But luckily they hired me as a lecturer right after my undergraduate degree. So I did some teaching at lower level math courses. So one of my friends said, well, I'm applying for an assistantship at a university in New York. And I'm like, how do you do that? What do you need to do? So he said, you have this test called TOEFL. That's the English test. You have to take that, and then you send. You have to do GRE, Graduate Record Examination. If you do well, then they will give you an assistantship, so you don't have to have money to pay for tuition or anything. So I just followed his directions. And then I applied for 2 universities. I didn't have a lot of money, so I couldn't apply for lots of universities because there was an application fee for every PhD program. So I applied there in Southern California, University of Southern California.
You mentioned you played cricket. And I know we've kind of talked about it like outside of like the podcast and being on camera, but I want to dive more into that because I think that is really cool and it's really awesome. So when did you start playing cricket? Like, what's your story with that?
I was maybe
He was
6 years old.
6 years old?
Yeah, very young. So I'm the youngest of 6 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And my oldest brother and I have about 12-year difference.
Okay.
So they played and I would go to practices with them, and once in a while coach will ask me to come and field with them and things like that. So that's how I started, very young age. And so I because of my 2 brothers, I became pretty good in a young age. So my goal was to play for the country, and that was pretty a high level goal for myself, but that was my goal.
Yeah, so the other day it was super nice out. It was Friday. It was so beautiful. I went to the park and I actually saw a family playing cricket. And
Really?
it was so cool. Like the little kid had like a plastic one. And so like, I'm just wondering if you could give us like just a quick, like what are the rules of cricket? Like what's the goal? How do you win?
So it's similar to baseball
Okay.
and also different. Okay.
Uh,
So baseball has 4 bases, right?
Mhm.
Cricket has 2 wickets. So 3 stumps with something called bails, the 2 little pieces on top of it. You should Google it. There are lots of games on YouTube.
Mhm.
Cricket games. I watch cricket all the time. So when I grew up in, when I was little in 1970s and then 80s was in high school and college, I didn't have a TV. We actually in 70s we didn't have TVs in Sri Lanka.
Mhm.
In 80s the country did, but I didn't have a TV. So all these players that I've heard on the radio, now I can see them playing.
Oh my
So it
gosh.
was very interesting for me. So what's the question again? Oh, just tell you about rules.
Yeah.
So there's like a boundary that in baseball, if you hit over that, you get a home run, right? But you still have to run. In cricket, if you hit to the boundary, if it goes along the ground, you get 4 runs. You don't have to run between the wickets. If you hit over it, you get 6 runs.
Okay.
But anything else, you have to run between the wickets. There are 2 players. Then how many times they cross and go to the other wicket or base is a run. So and then
Okay.
you get run out too, just like in baseball.
Mhm.
If you hit the wicket before they come to that crease, then you get out.
Okay, so they have to hit the wicket with like the ball. Is it
Yeah.
what is the ball? Is it called a ball that they're hitting?
Yeah, yeah.
It
It's
is.
kind of like the baseball, but it's red. I
Okay.
think it may be a little smaller. It's definitely smaller than softball.
Then softball.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many players are in the field then?
11.
There's 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Each side has 11, and then we normally have 3 reserves. If
Okay.
somebody get injured, somebody else come.
Gotcha. So then there's always 2 people that are running back and forth.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So you have-
Yeah, I have to watch it. Or
I've
I'm gonna have to look
I've
it
seen
up.
videos of cricket and I've seen it in like movies where they're playing it and like I know they have like a bigger paddle that they use rather than like a bat and I've never actually fully known the rules and I've seen it on TV but I'll have
Okay.
to look it up.
Yeah.
You know another interesting fact, Riley?
What?
I was the opening batsman, as you are.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I remember you said that when I brought you for staff appreciation. He came. He was my staff appreciation, and I'm lead off for the softball team. And he said that he was the first batter for cricket.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we've got that in common.
I think we're
Yes.
gonna have to start a cricket club, a cricket team.
Is there one here?
I don't know.
Is there?
think international students play.
I think
heard
they play.
Do you ever
somewhere.
go and like
Yeah.
help out?
No,
or
I
anything?
haven't. But Clay, our soccer coach,
Yeah.
invited me many times,
Oh, you
but
have
I got
to.
my shoulder injured when he called me, so I couldn't go.
Yeah.
Do you still, before your shoulder injury or after when you get all healed, do you still play or do you plan on playing?
I don't.
You
I
don't?
play ping pong, but I'm pretty good at ping pong. That's the game I play very regularly. But cricket, last time I played was when I was in graduate school. Purdue had a team.
Mhm.
So my brother-in-law and I played for our university back home, Colombo University. That's how I met my wife too.
Oh, really?
So he played for Purdue, and he would call. I didn't go to Purdue. I was in Southern Illinois. But he called me and said, come and play when they don't have enough players
Yeah.
and things like that. So I went and played. That's the last time I played cricket.
Awesome. Have you ever played pickleball?
Yeah.
You
yeah,
have. Do you
yeah.
like that? Is it?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not similar to or softball or baseball or cricket at all, but kind of similar to tennis and ping
Tennis.
pong.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to play tennis a lot.
Yep.
And all my 3 children play tennis.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. But
Nice.
I couldn't play with them. They got too big for me to play with.
Too fast.
You're just an
Yeah.
athlete, though. This is awesome.
Yes.
And I feel like you kind of dropped a bomb on us and skimmed over it. How did you meet your
Yes.
wife? I kind of want to know more about that.
So I played first class cricket in Sri Lanka, which is like major league here, but it's not at that same level, but similar. And then when I was around 18, I got selected into going to the university, but the rule is there. They don't really pay too much attention to sports. They actually would rather students not play any sports because they're very strict, very lots of homework and things like that. So the rule is if you go to the university, you have to play for the university. You can't play professional cricket. But I wasn't that famous, so nobody knew. I was still playing.
Oh my
And then they
goodness.
I got caught.
You got caught?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
no.
So the AD one day asked me to come to his office and he said, you have to stop this. You have to come and play for the university or you have to leave the university and play cricket.
Interesting.
And I'm glad I picked to stay in the university.
Nice. So when you went into school, did you always know you wanted to get a degree in math? Or did you kind of bounce around a little bit and did, like you said, you didn't know what you wanted to do with that after, but kind of found your way along the way?
So for my undergraduate degree, when I did that, yeah. So math came easy for me. People think math is hard, this and that, but I found it easier for me because I don't have to study, right? There's a logic to follow. And so that's why I went into math because remember I said my focus was on cricket.
We're really thinking
so I
outside of
found
that, yeah.
the easiest one to take.
I don't know if many people would consider math the easiest one to go with. That's
No.
kind of crazy.
I think everybody has their certain talents, and math was easy for you, and it came along great.
I think math was easy for me because I had a good foundation.
Yep.
I had pretty good teachers. So think about this. Can you divide without knowing addition or multiplication? Right? Everything get built on.
Yeah.
If you are good with addition and multiplication, division comes easy. So that's what happened to me. I had really good teachers in my first few years. I had a very good foundation and it was pretty natural to me after that.
Do you think that, I know you teach some classes here at SMSU, and since you had those teachers that kind of helped you at a young age, do you think that's kind of why you wanted to still teach classes as long as as you're still the president of our school, but still kind of give back and help those students?
Probably I was looking for Paige. He was in my class. But I love teaching. Only reason I went into administration is because I get more money, right? So that's why I went in there. But I have won 5 teaching awards.
Really?
In different schools, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So I think it's because more than my skills, because it's a passion for me. So I when I was provost, which is like the second position in a university in West Virginia, I taught every semester. Because when I get into my classroom, I forget about everything, and it's like really nice for me to be able to forget about the other responsibilities and just teach. So, but it's hard as a president because I have to go to the cities for meetings a couple of times a month. So I know some of my students in Paige's class was not very happy that I had to do some of the classes online since I had to go out of town most of the time.
Yeah. Do you have you kind of had to transition out of teaching more, and do you miss it a lot?
I did. I really missed. But see, my previous position before I came here, I taught one class every semester. So that's good. I enjoy in the classroom. I don't enjoy online that much. You don't get the interaction with students. But yeah, I missed that coming here.
What would you say your favorite math class is to teach here at SMSU?
Well, when I say this, people get surprised, but I love teaching Calculus 1.
Oh, gosh.
I have taught that about maybe 30 times. The reason why I like calculus is it's easy to teach. Since I have taught it many times, I can just go there and teach without looking at anything. But students are a little bit mature, right? Sometimes in college algebra or lower, you really have to tell students to do their homework. and prepare them for exams and things like that. At calculus level, they have passed those, so we don't have to really hold hands that much.
Yeah, I think the craziest thing, I took AP Calculus, so like the college accelerated, and it humbled me. Like, like first test, 64%, like worst ever. And I think the biggest thing is like you have to like bend your mind to think of math differently. Like it's not all numbers, and I feel like that can apply to so many things in life too. And I feel like that kind of like transitions into my next question too. Like, what are some things that you have gained from teaching that you have brought into your job as the president of a university like this?
Well, one thing I have told my staff, people I work with, president's cabinet, that you have to tell people something 3 times for them to really hear it. I'm not kidding you. Sometimes
ain't joking, no.
I can go tell in a big meeting, this is what we are going to do. And next time people act like they never heard of it. And when I was a faculty member, I was the same way, because you have so many other things going on, so you don't really pay attention. So you have to say it 3 times for people to hear. Those kind of things, I think it goes with teaching too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who would you say along your journey of like education and becoming a teacher and then the president of a university were some of your mentors and like role models that helped you along the way?
So I had many. My 6th grade math teacher was the first one. He was, we were all scared of him. He was very, very strict. But I think he saw something in me. So he would always, I was mad about this. I didn't tell him, but he would always give me extra work to do. Okay. So the class has to do like, let's say 10 problems, homework problems. He would give me 15. I was like, it's a punishment. But now looking back, I think he saw that I can do this. And some of the questions he assigned me was harder than the regular questions. Now I see why. But I always felt like it's a punishment for me. He is the first one. But then I had, when I was dean at Indiana University, the chancellor of the university, he took me under his wing, and he's the reason why I became a president. He kind of told me what to do, how to fundraise and things like that. I still remember some things he told me. One thing I tell everybody is, he said, Kumara, in these kind of positions, you have to keep moving. You can't just stay in one place for a long time. He said, friends come and go, enemies accumulate. So he said, if you're in an administrative position, you can't just stay there for a long time.
So how would you say life is balancing like with your family and like raising kids? How was it kind of going from place to place and then finally ending up here like in Marshall? But how is it balancing life and work?
Yeah, so this job requires lots of time away from my family. Like today, I go home and then I have to come right back, right, for something. Saturdays and Sundays, I have something going on. Because of that reason, I loved COVID time. Then I can go home and stay there, do everything on Zoom or something. But yeah, so I have 2 children about 17 hours away from here. I miss them a lot because I only see them maybe a couple of times a year. That's the hardest part. But my youngest son, Devon, goes to school here. He wanted to go to Mankato or SDSU, but so I didn't force him to come here. But one of his teachers at the high school, chemistry teacher, kind of convince him to go to SMSU.
And I'm sure you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
he gets to stay close to home.
Yeah, he once in a while come and visit me in my office. He comes many times. When he came, I was in a meeting. So he's like, I can't see you ever at school, but once in a while he find a time to come and sit with me, and I love that. Yeah. But it's a balancing act. It's not something I can do for a long time because I'm too far away from my two kids, two older kids.
Yeah, so definitely it's harder now with how life has changed, but you've obviously made a huge impact on your kids. What do you think is one thing that you really hope sticks with them that you have taught them through their lives?
Oh, that's a hard question because I have given them many lessons, but I have always told them. So my all three of my kids are pretty smart. I have told them that that's not enough. Hard work outpace smartness at some point. So that probably my oldest son and middle son found that out when they went to med school, right? You have to study.
Yep.
It's not how smart you are, it's how much you can cramp into your memory. So, yeah. So that's probably the
Yeah.
lesson that they will probably remember.
Awesome. What would you say after balancing life and everything? What does a typical day look like for you? I know that could vary with meetings and having to go certain places, but if a certain, maybe like a Tuesday kind of looks like for you.
Okay, so most of the days I start, so very rarely I have a 8 o'clock meeting. My day normally starts at 8:30. That's how I like it because I want to come in and look at my emails and make coffee and all those stuff in my office. So from 8:30, it's normally lots of meetings, and I love when my meetings get cancelled. So then I have an hour of free time, and then I go to lunch around noon. Normally, once in a while, I have a meeting at noon. We have town hall meetings normally around noon. Then there are a few other meetings that I have around noon. But on a typical day, I'm free at noon. Then I go to lunch. And then I walk around. That's when I see you, Riley,
Yep.
practicing. Yeah.
Yep. You come and walk around on top of the gym, and
yeah.
I wave, and all my teammates wave. We
Yeah.
get so excited.
Yeah, so I walk around and go. It's mostly it's not just for exercise. I go and meet people. I talk to faculty. I know lots of people have told me and Lori many times they really appreciate me coming around and talking to people. So I love that.
This might be kind of off topic, but you always are so well dressed, you know? In the mornings, does it like take a while to like choose your outfit? Or do you just like go with it? Like how many suits do you have? How many ties?
I have lots of suits because people, so over the years, I have, I don't throw anything away. So I collected a bunch of suits. I don't really pay attention to what I'm wearing. Normally my wife tells me what to wear. When she's not there, I just go for the closest.
I love it.
That's how I pick, and I don't try to match colors or anything. That's not me.
It always just works out though. It's
my wife picked them. That's why. I don't pay attention to my dress. I always say this is my uniform for the position, right? I meet people from outside, all kinds of people. So I have to dress professionally for that. That's the only reason. So it's like wearing a uniform.
I think one other thing that I kind of think of when I'm looking at your life as a whole, like you've just done so many different things. Like, is this where you thought you would end up?
So that's what happened when you are old, right? You look back and you have so many things you have done. Okay, I'm sure you will get there one day. But no, I never expected to be a president or anything like that. Yeah, it just happened.
That's awesome. So I think we're kind of getting to our end of our time here. What would you say if you could go back to your younger self and give yourself some advice, or just what would you say to your younger self? Like you said, you never thought you'd end up being like the president of a university, especially here in Minnesota, because you mentioned you lived in West Virginia. But what would you say to your younger self?
If I can go back to my elementary school, middle school, and high school years, I would say pay attention to education, not cricket. Because at that point, my goal was to play for the country. But once I started playing at the highest level, I realized I'm average. There are lots of people who are better than me, and to get there, I had to work super hard. I couldn't just go to the university, do my studies, and do the other thing, cricket, at the same time. So that's when I decided to pay attention to my education. But that was when I was doing my undergraduate.
Yeah. I think there's a lot that goes. Obviously, you worked really hard when you were starting to like play cricket, be that athlete. What is like one of the biggest things that you have maybe applied from being an athlete, playing cricket at that level, to your job, to your life today?
That one I can tell very quickly.
Yeah.
Never give up.
Heck
Right?
yeah.
I'm sure Riley knows.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you feel like you're losing by a lot, you still have a chance if you work hard. So that's a life lesson I learned from cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, and that's one big part about SMSU. Obviously, like the percentage of athletes we have there. I feel like that definitely transitions into what kind of grades people get. Like you work hard, and I feel like you being it, like you said, you meet people, you show like this is me, and I think it's just a testament. Like we all we look up to you,
Yes.
and that's what a president should be. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, we see you at all the sporting events.
Yeah.
You support us athletes, especially softball, and Seeley's on the track team, and volleyball and basketball. We really appreciate you coming out to all the games, and I think all student athletes and just students in general can really think to never give up, and that especially here we got to learn more about you, and that you're not just the president of the university, and you can sit and have a conversation with you and enjoy it, and it's just person to person, human to human.
Yeah, I agree. And just another key thing I think I've taken away from this is just build those relationships. I think that you've talked a lot about that. That's why you're in your suit every day,
Yes.
gotta look a certain, gotta play the part, but at the end of the day, you are who you are. You aren't just the president. And I feel like that's something that I'm excited for a lot of people to kind of learn about you, and I'm really glad that we got to know you better today.
Thank
One
you, yeah.
one last question.
Okay.
What is your favorite part of SMSU? Like anything about SMSU?
I love our people here.
People here?
Yeah, definitely. I cannot tell you how nice it is. I definitely see a huge difference coming from West Virginia to here. I don't know if it's just Minnesota nice. It's more than that.
Yeah.
And so people are super nice. I came from another state. I wasn't even born in this country, right? I have not been to Minnesota when I started this job. So I was a little afraid. I was like, I don't know how people will take me. And it has gone so awesome. I love it here.
That's awesome. Well, we're really grateful we could have you on our episode tonight. It was great to get to know you more. And I love seeing you up the top of the gym every day when we have practice. But yeah.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here.
Yes, thank you. Tune in next week for the Mustang Blueprint.
What is the biggest thing that you hope any college student in here, really anyone in particular, can take away from your story thus far?
It's a journey, and everyone's journey is very unique. And that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes it challenging, is being able to be who you are and be involved in what you are involved in, but still learning lessons for yourself.